listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show.
Hi, you guys.
I love the applause.
Yeah, that's right. All right, you guys, Bing is for doing, and here at AFTERBUZZ TV, we're doing another Project Runway Season 10, Episode 8, Starving Artist episode.
Oh,
and tonight was really interesting because we got a little Celeb Apprentice, a little Project Runway going on. And I don't want to confuse people, but what I mean by Celeb Apprentices is they really had a interesting challenge that reminded me of Celeb Apprentice.
Yes, it did.
Yes. So should we get started?
Yes, we shall.
Challenge. So I feel like the challenge was 2 parts. And the first part was getting in their budgets, fundraising their budgets. And the second part was actually creating 2 cohesive fall looks.
One of the pieces had to be outerwear.
Exactly. And with their budget, they walked into the workroom and Tim Gunn let them know, look, you have some arts and crafts, create what you need to create. You have 2 hours to go into the streets of New York and sell whatever you made, advice. I mean, whatever you got, alterations on the streets. What'd you guys think of that part of it?
And Tim Gunn drew names to pick teams as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm missing that. Yes, he drew names. So they had teams of 3. Team 1 was Chris, Sanji, Gunner. Team 2, Dimitri, Elena, and Alicia. And finally, Ven, Melissa, and Fabio was the last team.
Yeah.
So these 3 teams went out and tried to sell. What'd you guys think?
They started making things in the workroom, and most of them were doing T-shirts and stuff. And who did Dimitri try? Dimitri tried to make that white T-shirt with that like fleur-de-lis applique on the back that we all were like Ed Hardy.
He was trying to save it. He was trying to save the mess that they created.
This makes it special. I was like, that makes it Ed Hardy. And then that group also, Elena, when they were out on the street selling, she had a lovely attitude as per the norm. And she was like, please buy our T-shirts that are really horribly made, or what did she say? Crappy.
She's like,
or crappy
I know
T-shirts?
they're crappy.
Like, I'm sorry, whatever. They did a horrible job on the street.
They put no effort in the workroom either.
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of how everything went. Like, and you could see it because they had no idea what they were doing, and they just started painting the T-shirts. And then at the end, they were like, "Oh, well, now let's try to put some thought into it." Whereas you could see the other designers, they had stencils, and they were really thinking about how they were going to sell these shirts.
Right. They made it make sense. And while the other teams, while Dimitri, Elena, and Alicia's, they just looked like at one point you saw Elena just like going like this with paint on a shirt, like Jackson Pollock style. Like they were all just like blah, like throwing up stuff all over these T-shirts. And then they got on the street, and of course Elena was like, excuse me, bitching about it. And I don't just, sorry, I'm just kind of over her.
Yeah,
right?
No, I think you're right, Virginia. And what I noticed, I just felt like their team had no creativity, and that's what it was. They just kind of took these arts and crafts, didn't know what to do with it, and did the most boring, horrible. Like I did better arts and crafts than that as a child. I didn't just paint stripes or something weird. I feel like a 5-year-old could have got a little bit more creative with that, and it was just bad. They just didn't know what to do.
Well, as Lauren and Dimitri pointed out, Elena is negative, and from the beginning she's like, glitter? I don't like glitter. I don't like arts and crafts, blah, blah, blah. So she had that negative attitude, goes into it. They put no effort.
She was in a bad mood because she couldn't make like a puffy, oversized jacket out of the materials they gave her probably. And they ended up ultimately raising the least amount of money out of all the groups. So
And I think it's pretty, like, it's becoming very apparent that the attitude really does matter, because take, for example, when Ben had a bad attitude, he made a bad outfit. Now,
Yeah.
so it really is, you have to get behind it. And that's what Anna was saying at the end. It's, your negativity does show through your clothes when you're designing.
Attitude is everything.
Yeah, and I think on top of that personality, you need to have some kind of personality to go out there and sell, and that team was just doomed. You have Alicia, who doesn't really say anything, and she's quiet and kind of boring. Then you have Elena, who's like a bitch, you're totally right, and crabby, and she was
crappy
negative.
T-shirts.
Right,
Yeah.
and then there's Dimitri, who's kind, I think. I like Dimitri,
Yeah.
but would he be a great salesperson? I don't think so.
He's as
He's not
cold
very
as ice.
outgoing.
He's like, wear my dress.
He just couldn't talk enough maybe to sell it. So I just felt like their team was doomed from the beginning. I'm kind of surprised they even came up with the 500 that they did.
They had a bad combo to start, yeah. But
Dimitri ice skates for a living. So.
I know. You don't really
You
need to
don't
talk
talk,
in that.
so-
Yeah.
you don't need to talk. You express through your body.
Yeah, and you have dramatic faces. And he really fits that.
He does.
Yeah. Didn't work well for them
Yeah.
on the street.
Yeah.
And then Ven, Melissa, and Fabio. We didn't really see what they made, but they were hustling. At least Melissa was. She was
Yeah.
literally begging for people
She
to.
was begging.
And they made the most money.
Well,
They
I would
did-
think,
yeah, they did.
cute girl, put on the shirt that you made and go sell to every attractive guy that's out there. Flirt a little. That's what I would have done.
Sex
And
sells.
unattractive.
Good
Yeah.
call. Virginia, I like that idea.
Sorry.
No, hey, I would
You
have
gotta
done it.
hustle.
But I think,
Yeah.
Fabio, Melissa, and Ven, they actually got along fairly well. So maybe that's what helped them too, is that they were able to work a little bit better as a team. But then there was Gunnar, Sanji, and Christopher, and they looked like they were having a good time, surprisingly.
Surprisingly.
Because the show topped off with Gunnar and Christopher. Like,
Yes.
I don't like the sound of his voice. Oh my God, if I get put on a team with Gunnar, I'm going to die. And then they got on the street and they were singing and having fun. And I felt like I was very surprised to see those two boys who I feel like from the first episode, I was like, they are going to have a problem with each other. They did a great job and they fell in the middle on raising money, but I think they did.
I think they surprised themselves too.
Yeah.
I think they both were kind of surprised, like, right in the beginning when they landed on each other's teams, they were kind of like, oh, great. And I saw the cattiness was back. I know we talked about it last week, I think, where we haven't seen that drama between the two of them in a while. And all of a sudden, in the beginning of this episode, it was definitely back. But then I think they were like, well, he's not so bad. Okay, we're getting
Dissipated a little,
along.
yeah.
I think that was
Worked.
editing as well. They kind of made it seem like Christopher hates Gunnar, and he was saying, "Oh, I'm so furious that they didn't kick Gunnar off." Blah blah blah, and then we see them kumbayaing, in a team
who
together.
knows?
Yeah.
So
Could
that
be.
could be it. And so when I mentioned Celebrity Apprentice, I just thought it was interesting. Have you guys seen a Project Runway like this?
No.
Where
I don't recall seeing where they're like scrounging for money on the streets like Celebrity Apprentice.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing anything like that, but maybe we're wrong. And if so, call in and tell us, please.
And I thought it was interesting that they actually raised more money than they've ever gotten on the show this season.
I'm surprised any of those amounts they were able to raise.
2 hours on the streets with crappy T-shirts.
The
People
least,
saw the cameras.
the least was 500, and maybe I don't know if they were allowed to say they were part of Project Runway, but I'm sure people probably figured it
No,
out.
they yelled
They-
it.
they were
They were
yelling.
yelling
They
it.
were okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, that could have
Still.
been it. But 500 was the least amount raised, and I was like shocked that they got 500.
Yeah. And
Yeah, but-
800 was the most.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen cameras roaming around the streets of LA, people are tourists are always like, oh, what's going on? Thinking,
Yeah.
oh, if I give them $20, maybe
I'll
I'll
be
get on
on.
TV. So I'm sure it was, towards the end of it,
of
you
it.
saw how much fun they were having, and because they were probably just making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, you're in New York and it's a fashion show. I think everybody knows Project Runway out there and they hear that because it looked like some people were just giving them donations. Not everybody was taking a shirt. They were just like, here, take my money because they knew they were doing it for a challenge. They probably understood the show already and knew they needed fabric. And they're like, sure, why not? I would have given money. I wouldn't have taken that shirt though.
Yeah,
Dimitri,
waste.
no.
Not with
No,
the
thank you.
That applique on the
No.
back was.
I'm very glad you guys wouldn't do it.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so second part of the challenge, create 2 cohesive fall looks. And they raise their money. They have to spend all of it at Mood. And let's see.
Oh,
The outerwear part.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
they had to
outer
have one
aspect.
piece.
One piece had to be outerwear, so as in a jacket or a coat.
And they had their usual 30 minutes at
No, they had
Mood.
2 hours.
Oh, 2 hours at
2
Mood?
hours. That's why at the last minute they were saying they only had 15 minutes and they had no idea where the time went because they
Which
were there
team
for
was
2
that was
hours.
saying that?
That was Gunnar,
Sanji.
Gunnar, Chris, and
Because they
Sanji.
were doing it all together. Whereas other teams, I think
Split
some
up.
of them split up, which was the right idea. But they had 30 minutes to sketch. I think that was what
I
was
was
normal.
confusing. Thank you. Yeah, I was confused about that. But you know what was funny is then at the end when Gunnar, Chris, and Sanji were kind of scrambling. Chris made a really, really funny quote. He said, "My legs are like a Hungarian. My legs are going to look like a Hungarian shot put by the end of this season because they were running around Mood so much up and down the stairs like so fast." And he says he feels like he's always running there. Like I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, they did kind of
Probably
scramble at
true.
the last minute. However, they picked the best fabrics out of any group. I think.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we all agreed on that.
So they lucked out at the end because they got the best quality fabrics and the colors and they did great.
It even looked like that when they were at Mood before they even started sewing. You could tell they picked richer fabrics versus Ven's team where they got those ugly drab.
I was
as
just
we
gonna
heard,
say drab.
sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
What was
Really
going
sad.
on?
Not so good.
No, it was that. Yeah, that was bad.
Very
And
bad.
Ven and Fabio and Melissa, they had the most money. And
Yeah.
I mean, they ended up saying it later on in the runway. You had the most money, but their clothes looked the cheapest.
It doesn't look like
in
it,
the
yeah.
end.
And when it comes to fall, I think wool, cashmere, thick, nice fabrics.
And they
what
did
was that,
the
cotton?
opposite, like that pinky
Sheer.
yogurt color and the white jacket and the gray, I guess, is gray. I mean, I like gray and you can use it whenever probably. But in juxtaposition with those colors, it felt like a weird spring drab I don't know.
It wasn't
Yeah.
even a nice gray though. It wasn't like a
It was
dark
a weird
or light.
mousy or something.
Yeah, it wasn't, and even the pink, it was so sheer. It was like, where are you going to wear that in the winter? Not in New York for sure. You'd be
Yeah,
freezing.
and the pink color was weird too.
Even white leather. I'm not
Yeah.
a fan of white leather.
If it's done right, it could be cool. That jacket was not that great.
But probably not in the fall. I don't think I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I see white leather in the fall.
I think they were trying to go with winter white. It
Oh,
just
maybe.
wasn't executed
Yeah,
the way it should have.
It was bad.
I agree.
And we'll talk more about that once we get into the runway. But let's talk about the workroom. We see some conflict. Are you guys surprised to see Dimitri and Alina going at it?
Absolutely not. I mean, that's just pretty much par for the course with those two because they both have very strong opinions. And then you have Alicia, who's in the middle, who has no opinion or doesn't ever express her opinion. So, they're just going at it and she's just sitting back there watching.
Yeah.
But we heard something new from her, and all of us were kind of surprised to hear it when she said that she hates Dimitri or that they don't get along. And all of us were like, really? Because we've never really seen that drama play out. But apparently that was something that just hasn't been shown.
Or maybe she just never said anything about it. And she's
Yeah.
just like stone-faced the
Maybe
whole time.
Dimitri doesn't know she hates him.
I mean,
and-
she probably just had to pick something to have an opinion on because she's so middle of the road or she's not even middle of the road. She's just like silent.
She's
just like
blah. Like very blah.
Blah
Like
is a good way.
You could take her or leave her. Like there's nothing fantastic about her. And so, I'm never impressed with her. I kind of forget about her.
And her clothes, I think, again, we're talking about how your attitude goes into the designs that you make. I feel like her clothes are like just like her. They blend into me. I never remember what they are, even after the show, the runway. And then she's just exactly the same.
They're like filler, kind of.
Yeah.
Like they're the pants that went under that massive jacket, or they're just the plain tee that you don't really notice. It's just something to go under something
They're
else,
the
it
fluff.
seems like.
They're like the
Yeah,
fluff.
and
think-
she's filler, just a contestant that's ready to go.
Well,
I'm serious.
Whoa.
Well, we've been filler. Whoa, we've been saying it from day one that she's
She's
just been
slipping through the
right
cracks.
under the radar. Like she's not noticeable.
Totally.
Filler.
I'm surprised she's here or
Yeah.
she lasted as long
Yes.
as she did.
I think Heidi said it best today when they're throwaway pieces.
Totally.
Done.
She's a throwaway piece. I'm sorry. She
I
seems
mean,
nice.
No.
But
I'm not disagreeing with you.
come on.
We're not talking about their personalities or who they are. It's
I kind of am.
A little bit
No,
of
I'm
her
just-
personality.
Well, a little bit.
personality, but not her character.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm sure she's a nice person, but as somebody on the show, I mean, she's not a vindictive, malicious person. But I mean, we want, as the viewers, we want to see you. We want to get to know who you are, where you're coming from, and how you can execute these designs, and what your voice is and your vision. And she is so there's nothing there.
Yeah.
I at least want someone who's creative and makes beautiful clothes and is inspiring as a designer.
Yeah.
We don't even get that. So
Yeah.
even if you're drab, I think Ven's pretty drab. At least make some beautiful clothes.
Yeah.
He gets a pass.
He has something, you know what I mean? And even like Elena, who makes bad jackets, ill-fitting jackets, she has a personality. So there's something that we can at least enjoy in watching them on the show.
Right.
And that's an understatement.
Alicia.
A personality.
Exactly. Exactly. See?
She has.
We just wanted something, Alicia. We wanted something. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
All right. So in the workroom, we see Tim Gunn come along. Did any of his remarks stand out to you guys?
Yeah.
I have to jump in here and say that when he was critiquing Ven and the skirt that he was making, I didn't disagree with Tim saying, you know, we've seen this before from you, but also that it doesn't seem like it goes with anything else that is being made. And he was right, it didn't, because all the other pieces were really boring and drab, and Ven had that normal, very structured, almost like stained glass appearance like he always does with those seams and they're crossing over and all of that. And I agree that it was sort of the same and it didn't look like one of these things is not like the other, but the thing that he ended up making, the skirt that he ended up making instead was not good. And then he completely lost his vision, and I don't agree that Tim.
That's the thing about.
No, the thing is that skirt that he ended up making, it looked like the skirt that I got from my Catholic school uniform that went to T-length that we all hemmed up to, you know, really short. But the one that he started out with was his structured layered skirt. I don't understand why he didn't just do like a very structured pencil skirt or, you know, something that...
To tone it down a bit.
Right. But it didn't have to go so extreme to where it was just not even him and flowy.
So he could have, so maybe that's a better said. Maybe Tim's advice was on, but Ven took it to another level that he shouldn't have. Maybe that's what it was.
That's what I was going to say. You don't have to take his advice and do something completely different.
Yeah.
You could be true to yourself, but alter what he's telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but that's also what makes a good designer is when you can adjust to the comments that you're getting. He basically, you know, did his simple, I think Ven's kind of like a mosaic artist. Like everything's kind of mosaic lines and pieced together. And that's great, but if somebody comes along and tells him that doesn't really work, it's almost like he doesn't know what to do. And he kind of just gave up and was like, oh, I'm going to drape this big frumpy fabric around her waist and send her down the runway because I can't do what I want. That's what it looked like to me.
Amish.
I think Ven started so strong, and I'm kind of getting disappointed as these challenges go on and on. I mean, I wanted to see explosive, amazing.
Yeah. Well, even
designs from him.
Sanji, she was kind of like yawning at his, you know, typical aesthetic. And she's like, okay, it's getting old, it's getting boring. And I think you see that a lot in this competition with people as it gets to this stage. Like they wow you in the beginning, but then you start to see that same thing over and over again. And that's what Ven is doing. And he's not doing anything else.
This is when the one trick pony becomes really obvious. And yeah, I think maybe it might be getting kind of obvious with Ven. And you know, I'm a huge Ven fan, but I'm starting to feel a little bored. I wanted to see, like you said, Alina, something explosive, and I'm not really seeing that anymore.
I was just so wowed by him that I expected more. But speaking of these lovely designers, who is the fan favorite right now on iTunes?
Let me tell you.
Who was it last week?
Last week and
Elena.
the week before and the
Elena,
week
that's
before and the week before was Elena.
Block that out of my memory.
And I've triple checked this, you guys. I've triple checked it.
No.
It's Elena.
Come on.
I know, 39%. So I am seeing the percentage fluctuate, so I know that it is real. I know that it's working. She's up now at 39%, and Melissa is trailing her, I think, by 24%.
This is
24%.
the
So there's a
KGB
bigger
is
gap.
doing this.
There's a bigger gap than there. Oh. And you know what I thought?
that.
This is one thing that I was thinking was maybe because when people are tweeting, maybe they put in Team Elena when they're like criticizing her. Maybe they're like, oh, Team Elena's evil. Oh, Team Elena. That's what I thought. But I was checking Twitter. That was my triple check. And people are all about her. They're supporting her. They're like, oh, I love that jacket. Too bad it didn't fit better. But they're still supporting her.
But that's part of the challenge is to make it fit. What are
Yes.
they talking about?
So you guys could follow along on this iTunes app as well. And while you're there, please download us on iTunes. You know we love doing this for you. We have so much fun. And we've been reading our comments. Some really great, some really interesting. But we are reading them and we're taking
thirsty.
them to heart. We're taking them to heart. And we love hearing from you guys. So please keep downloading us and passing us
Tell
along.
a friend. Tell a friend.
I love the criticism and
Yeah.
the compliments.
Oh yeah.
We
It's fun to
love it
read.
all.
And
Rate
it
us.
helps us.
We listen to it and we try and
We're trying.
constructively criticize ourselves as well.
Yeah.
And Neha from Slovenia, the little country by Italy.
Yes.
We love you. Thanks
it.
for the support. And
So sweet.
Adrian,
Adrian.
always Watchtower Base on Twitter.
Biggest fan.
He's the best. All right, you guys, let's move on to the runway. We're done with the workroom. We saw each team's cohesive looks. When they were working in the workroom, I was kind of confused. I thought there was going to be more than 2 looks, but they ended up sending 2 looks.
Hold on, before we do that, can we just talk about what Heidi came out in?
Oh,
Normally,
Thank you.
she
Please.
looks
Horrible.
amazing. I don't know what happened with the styling this week, but the dress was terrible. The shoes, how did they pair those shoes with that dress? I don't even understand. And then her hair, it looked like she just got her extensions out because it was very wispy. I know that's terrible to say, but it was awful. I just don't understand what happened this week. And I love Heidi.
I
Sorry,
am
Heidi.
not going to disagree with you on that one. The dress was weird, zebra pattern, and Heidi has an amazing body and she still could pull it off, but it looked like just a very unflattering dress in general. And then the shoes were like the same pattern but not, and then
It wasn't even that it was unflattering. It was just ugly.
It
Like
was
the
not.
pattern
Well,
was
it-
ugly. The zebra with the funky floral thing. I don't know what it
flattened her
was.
a little, and then the stripes were going horizontal on the hips. So imagine if you didn't have a rocking body like Heidi, like how bad that would look on a normal. Here we go with normal person, but not a supermodel, I shall say. But even her, I was like, I don't think that's the best look for you.
It was too much, and she's trying to go for sexy Heidi. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Bad.
And we loved her look last week.
The pink dress
Yeah.
was so cute.
We jinxed her.
Oh well.
Oh, well,
She can't always be perfect.
I guess.
Well,
It gives the rest of us hope. Not everyone's perfect. She can't always be perfect.
Well, I don't
we'll
know about
take it.
you, but
Oh, that's right.
All right. First team that was up, remind me, you guys, was
it was
it?
Chris, Gunnar, and Sanji, I think, right?
I believe.
No,
Was it not, or
no.
was it?
It was Dimitri, Alicia, and Elena, right? Either way, there were 3 groups.
All right. I
just
think I
pick one.
wrote Dimitri, Elena,
Okay.
and Alicia as well.
Okay.
First, we see Dimitri's look. He had an ugly shawl, in my opinion,
Yep.
and then a really beautiful black dress.
With the
What is that?
darts,
The
the
darts
darts
that-
that were like inside out sewn so you could see the stitching, which I didn't get what that one. None of us did. But
No,
then
I
once
didn't.
we saw, it actually looked good, and I thought the dress was pretty.
I thought the dress was pretty too. Predictable, but beautiful. Yeah.
Another, I think, one-trick pony. It's the same thing we see. It's just there's a different cutout, and now the outside-inside darts that kind of look like fish gills. I mean, it's a pretty dress, but I'm not getting impressed anymore with anybody.
Yeah, I don't want to call Dimitri a one-trick pony just yet, but he has always done dresses, and they made sure to point that out to him. But some
Elena.
of his dresses have been really amazing. Yeah,
Remember
almost
the fringy
everybody's been a
dresses?
one-trick pony. Let's be honest.
He did that fringy dress one time. That wasn't one.
The candy challenge.
Or the silvery one. You know, I like Dimitri overall, and he does. And even Nina pointed it out that he executes dresses really well, but they do want to see something different from him. They want to challenge him a little bit more. I love Dimitri's dress, though. You know, I know you all said it was beautiful too. I just think it's one of those dresses that most people would buy, and you know, it's not going to go out of style too soon. It's very simple, and it also looks kind of comfortable.
I liked the long sleeves too. It was very sleek.
I like the cutout too on the neck. I like it.
I thought it was a perfect
The shawl
little
was
black
bad.
dress.
The shawl was bad.
shawl was terrible.
Yeah.
He was trying to overcompensate.
It was not good.
And then the second look was the most ill-fitting jacket created by Elena, and then
Of course.
whatever Alicia made, which I didn't even notice. It was a top and pants.
Yeah, I just wasn't a fan of the jacket. I mean, it didn't fit at all. And then what she had underneath, I mean, they were arguing about the lengths of everything, but I was really surprised because Alicia finally gets to do pants, and then she makes these very underwhelming pants. And the shirt, it was just, I mean, you might as well just zipped up the jacket and kept it like that.
Completely.
You probably
agree.
should have zipped up the jacket and kept it like that because the top was so bad. And aside from being a bad fabric, very thin, and like what you said, it really wouldn't work in fall or winter because it's so thin.
What are you
it was
talking about?
sheer. The top that was
okay.
under. When the jacket was open, you could even see the top of the pant through the jacket.
Yeah.
Or sorry, through the shirt, which just looked horrible and looked beyond cheap, I thought. Alicia was bad.
Yeah, the jacket to me, I thought in the workroom the neck was looking really interesting and I liked the gray color and I was like, oh wait, I think I'm gonna like this for once. And then the final product was the hem was weird at the bottom and it was really ill fitting. And then the shirt and the pants underneath were not. But you know what? Honestly, Alicia should have tried to be a little bit more opinionated and outspoken about what she wanted, and that's what she got, covered up by a jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not even a nice jacket. I
No.
thought it was terrible.
It's not good.
And I'm shocked because Elena's all about structure. Nothing about that jacket was structured to me, and it was so badly done.
Yeah.
Next was Sanji, Chris, and Gunnar. And
Yeah.
as soon as Sanji's look walked down, I think we were all kind of like, ooh, that's so pretty. She had a really beautiful, structured, unique coat. And Gunnar's dresses were really pretty. I didn't love Chris's camel trench, but at least it looked expensive or somewhat expensive.
I liked the trench because I liked that it was sleeveless, so you could wear, some kind of contrast like they did. The dresses were really, really nice. I was surprised that Gunnar actually put something out there like that because he hasn't been the best. But the jacket I thought was perfect. The way that it went with the dress, the way that from the back it really cinched her waist. And even though she was small, I think that would work for just so many different body types. I really enjoyed that.
I agree with you both. When it originally came out, I thought that was a skirt. I didn't really realize that was a dress on top. I love the jacket. I want the jacket. So
jacket?
bad.
Sanji's. Okay.
I love that jacket. It was black. Like you said, it was very tailored. Kind
It
of
was
went out.
Hunter
it was
green.
hunter green.
Oh, sorry.
Dark,
Which is
couldn't
still
tell.
but
beautiful.
really dark.
Whatever.
Really dark.
I just love the fit of it. It looked gorgeous. And I love the colors that they used, that they were really neutral colors. I wanted that whole outfit. And I love that they paired it with the boots. I thought the boots was super cute with the big neck. Was that attached to the dress or was it a scarf?
It's like a
thing?
scarf.
Wrap
Like a wrap,
thing.
yeah.
I loved it. I love the whole outfit. I wanted.
It was styled really well.
Oh my God. I loved Sanji's jacket. Loved the color. I loved that. I actually thought it was black. And then when you really look, you see that deep green. And it still kind of just goes with anything that black would because it's so deep. But that back, the tailoring in the back was gorgeous. It came down to the point. And then I loved the sleeves on it. And I think that the dresses that Gunnar made were gorgeous too. Chris's coat. I love the camel hair. I love camel hair coats, and I like that he made it a trench style. I have that thing like I talked about last week with the uneven hem. I'm not a fan of that. However, I think it made it look very runway-ish, and I liked that. I like the art that he, gave over to it. It was very, very artistic and interesting.
It was unique.
And the back came down really pretty, but I just am in love with the color and the camel hair, so I had to go with that.
I agree with you on the cut of the bottom and the front, but I wonder if maybe had they gone with an even hem, you wouldn't have seen anything else.
Maybe.
But I think had they done an even hem, it would have been a little bit more timeless because the camel coat is timeless.
Yeah.
And the sleeveless element, that was something that's really different, and I liked that about it, that it was unique. But you're right, I didn't really love the uneven hem, but it made it more interesting.
It
Maybe
did. It
coming
made it
down the
more
runway.
interesting. Yeah.
That was about it.
Overall, their collection was really cohesive
Gorgeous.
as well. It was very fall stuff that people could wear, yet it was runway. I loved it. All right, and last but not least, Ven, Melissa, and Fabio. They, again, to remind you guys, they made the most money, about $800. And we know because we've seen the past challenges, they have like $100 budget, even less, I believe, maybe not less than 100. However, we saw a really inexpensive looking collection come down. They had this Amish looking skirt and white leather jacket. And then Fabio's, I'm blanking. That's how bad it was.
Fabio had the pants with the pink shirt. The thing that's weird is that
I got
outfit
that
is
mixed up.
so much similar to what Alicia made. It's almost the exact same thing. They both had pink sheer awful shirts and very boring bottoms. So it's weird that out of all of that, they chose the same color
fabric, same
styles.
colors too.
And the grandma coat on top of it.
That looked
That
like
was
tissue.
fabulous.
Tissue should have been in the pocket. That's what Michael Kors said.
Yes, it really did. I was just underwhelmed. They kept saying sad. That's a terrible thing to hear about your clothes. Who wants to wear sad clothes?
I know.
And the only good thing about that whole collection was the white jacket that Melissa made. But even that, I feel like it had that big collar that she's kind of sticking with, that she's really repeated. And it's been her strong. Every time she's done the really big collar, it's been very strong. But it's kind of like, okay, another strong collar.
Yeah, I like the strong collar that she has because she hasn't done it in everything, but you're right. It's been a repeating element that she's had. And it's funny because everybody was saying how, the white jacket, like they like the white jacket. I didn't really like it that much. I felt like maybe the neck was too high, that it didn't stand correctly to me. Like I felt like it kind of flopped over and I don't think it fit well. Personally, that's my personal thought. I didn't love it. I mean, you're right. Their whole collection was not great, very cheap. But I was kind of surprised that everyone was like, I like that jacket. I think it could have been cute, but it wasn't well constructed.
I liked the jacket. I think it's probably because everything else was so not likable. So I was like, the jacket. And I like a white leather jacket. And it was interesting with the collar. That was the only thing that was good about the collection. The rest of it was
Awful.
It's like a waste to even talk about.
I thought it was funny how Nina told them to switch the jackets by the outfits to hope that it would get better. And once they did, they were like, no, that didn't help at all.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised Ven wasn't more outspoken, at least at Mood. You know, I felt like he's had expensive taste this whole time. And then now he's just quiet and he allows them to pick these terrible fabrics. I was,
Well, I
so
think he has
underwhelmed.
that personality, though. Like we were saying, when he's doesn't do what he wants, I don't feel like he speaks up. I think he gets on the runway and blames other people.
Well, he
Just
didn't
like,
blame anybody this
well,
time, though.
Well, whatever.
You're right, though,
Yeah.
but this time he didn't. He just sort of, and he actually even, when they asked him during the judging, who would you pick to stay, he didn't even pick himself. He was very, didn't he? Or they said,
No,
who
they
do you
asked
think
who
is
was the weakest.
Oh, the weakest. And he,
I think
Fabio.
he
He
just
picked
followed.
Fabio.
He just followed the lead as well.
yeah, I just feel like he was being a little more diplomatic than normal, but he should have, this should have been the time where he wasn't. He should have stuck up for himself and said, hey, look, this is, I gotta be true to myself, because what they ended up producing was.
Yeah. And I think it's funny too, because they pointed out, you know, your group had the most money. And even Nina said they had really great fabrics.
They did.
And what I was thinking was, and they had really great talent. Like Melissa and Ben, that's a great
Exactly.
combination.
And Fabio has won a challenge too.
Yeah.
So they should have produced something much
Yeah,
better than
I
what they came up with.
I think when you saw the groups originally come together, I thought they would be the strongest. And I was really surprised that they weren't.
I think I did too.
Yeah. So I just, it was sad, like they said.
It was sad and shocking.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the winner of the night was, I think, our favorite, right?
Yeah.
Sanji with
Yay.
her amazing jacket. And she said that she said she was really excited to make outerwear. That was her thing. And she really proved herself. And I'm glad, because she was feeling kind of down. Wasn't it last week or the week before she was in the bottom?
It was
the
the
week
week
before.
before.
It was the week before, and then last week it really just threw her off, and she was kind of an emotional wreck. So it was good to kind of see her back in the groove.
She only created the jacket, correct?
I want to say yes.
And I think that that's what my memory is serving me right now, that she
Yeah.
just did the jacket. And what I want to say about that is that's amazing. She had one jacket and she blew everyone away with one jacket, while Gunnar, his dresses were beautiful. He made 2 dresses and other people made a lot of different things. She had one jacket. It goes to show you, like, go with what you're good at, go with what you're strong at, and like really execute it well. And then look what happens. Like, she blew everyone away with that.
Yeah, I agree.
I completely agree. And our loser for the night was Alicia.
Wah, wah.
Yay. We were
It's about
excited. Get her
time.
out.
I don't think we're gonna miss her.
No.
We won't even notice it. So now we're down to the best 8 designers.
Elite 8.
I'm excited to see what they're gonna do, and I hope they step up their game.
I know, right? I think they really need to start you know, it's a delicate balance because I feel like we want to see what their aesthetic is and who they are and what their vision is and some cohesiveness there, but we have to see something different from like the, you know, like Ven, we're talking about with Ven and with, what's her name that I don't like, Elena. Like, we want to see their aesthetic, but they need to do something different. They need to amp it up a little and like throw us off a little. That's what I think.
Well, even if they're showing the same aesthetic or repeating, I feel like in past seasons, I liked Uli, I liked Rami, and each week their pieces were like, wow, to me personally. And even though they didn't, let's stray from what they are good at, like draping or patterns, whatever, at least they put out stuff that was amazing each week. I'm not getting this yet.
I think they just need to step out of their comfort zone just a little bit, and that's kind of how it has been. And I think it actually has taken the judges saying, you need to change it up or you're just going to go home because we're going to get bored. And I kind of feel like that's how everybody, I'm just a little bored.
Yeah.
I am a little too.
Sanji doesn't bore me, though. I was really excited to see her win. I think she has maybe the most fun aesthetic, and you do see some different things from her, and I think she has the ability to really adapt and change and kind of think creatively, and that's something I don't really see in all the designers. I was really impressed, though, with Gunnar. I thought Gunnar did really well. So I think if she didn't win, I would have wanted him to have been the next person.
The only thing that bothers me about Gunnar is his execution. I was noticing the hems of his dresses. He can design, he could draw, but he can't execute it. And I mean, if you're on Project Runway,
that's half the battle, right?
Well, and I was really surprised when they asked for the winner who it should be, and Christopher actually said Gunnar, because at the very beginning they were just being really snarky with each other. But, you know, I honestly think Christopher is just such a sweetheart, and, you know, he really is a team player, and you always get that really good, like, such a good heart about him. And so I was really, like, surprised and happy to see that. And then, you know, Gunnar was like, oh, yeah, me, of course.
Yeah.
That's just Gunnar.
I think Chris was in a really good mood. I mean, I think he was surprised at how well he got along with Gunnar, and then they won, and they were all excited, and they all worked together really well. And I think, who was our guest judge? I don't think we
Anna
had
Sui.
Anna Sui. Yeah, and she was the one that said, you know, your attitude and how you work together really shows in, you know, your designs and what you actually put out on the runway. And I think that really proved to be true in this challenge, especially with the winning team and with the two
All of
losing
them.
teams.
All
I mean,
of
it
them.
really showed.
That statement really like resonated through every single designer this week. I totally agree with that, and I think that it'll be interesting to see how their attitude keeps affecting their designs, because there is definitely some attitude.
oh yes, we've had a lot of that this season. Speaking of attitude, let's get on to news and gossip.
That's right. I got some stuff for you.
Lauren has some juice for us.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, we've got some Heidi juice, guys. I read on E! Online that Heidi Klum and her bodyguard have been seen canoodling. They were, his name is Martin Kirsten. He's been the bodyguard for 4 years, and they were seen cozying up in Sardinia, Italy, while Heidi was on vacation with her kids and her parents. And then Seal on TMZ, he gave a nice little quote. Well, first he said that he was, you know, if Heidi's going to bring someone into her life, I hope that it's somebody, you know, that is recognizable and familiar to the children. So I think he's okay with that, being that this guy's been in their life for 4 years. But then he did end the quote by saying, I prefer Heidi would have shown a little bit more class and at least waited until we were separated first before deciding to fornicate with the help. End quote, Seal. Wow. And then
Best quote ever.
Heidi's reps responded with, it's sad to see that Seal has to resort to false accusations. So we don't know what's going on, but apparently Heidi and the bodyguard are
Fornicating.
fornicating.
I thought that I read somewhere that Seal said he was misquoted on that.
He
Because
did.
I did read that
Backpedal.
story.
He might have been
And
backpedaling, but apparently that was a video quote. I didn't watch the video. I just read the
No,
quote.
I heard it. I heard it on the radio. So that's totally true. He did say that. But what I heard was that he ended up coming backpedaling and saying, you know, that, oh, I wasn't right. I don't know what I was saying. And, you know, but what I heard was that he may have done that by taking the advice of his lawyers because they're trying to settle the money and don't upset Heidi if you want some. I mean, yeah.
She's the breadwinner, I believe.
Probably.
So also with a little bit on Heidi as well, her and her trainer, Andrea Orbeck, if you want some tips on how Heidi stays fit and things that she eats and all of that jazz, you can go on to Heidi on AOL. And she, along with Andrea, they do a little segment and they just talk about her diet is, lean, green, and protein. And also her trainer, Andrea, has a video out called Supermodel Series. So if you want to check out any of the little moves they do, go for that. Okay, so we have some interesting news on Nina Garcia as well. She gets very sparkly because she is helping curate a jewelry collection for Bauble Bar, which is an online retailer, and they have a bunch of beautiful statement piece jewelry, and Nina is helping them curate a series of jewelry collections that she's basically saying is there's 4 different series that she's sending out, and they're all her favorite fall looks, and they're really, really pretty, and they're reasonably priced, $22 to $100. They're available online right now. I say go check them out. They're gorgeous.
Repeat that site.
And it's baublebar.com.
Isn't that Bauble?
Bauble bar.
I've been on it.
Because the jewels they're like bauble statement piece, necklaces and stuff.
Chunky.
And they're really, really pretty. And
Yeah.
Nina has great taste.
Yay.
And then we have a little Tim Gunn update. For all of you who are following his book tour for the Fashion Bible, check any city that you live in and find him because he's touring all around. But again, he's going to be in LA for those of you who live in LA at the Grove on the 14th. So
Tuesday.
The 11th.
Tuesday of the 11th.
Oh,
The
Tuesday the
11th.
11th. I'm sorry. I didn't write that down correctly.
7 p.m., I believe,
Yeah.
at the Grove. But you have to get there in the morning to buy the book.
So then
the
that's
meet
your
and greet.
ticket in. Yes. So if you're in LA, come join us. We will be there. And I'm sure a lot of other amazing Project Runway fans. That's all I've got for you today.
Awesome. Thank you.
That was good stuff.
Yeah.
Predictions, you guys?
Oh, geez.
AfterBuzz.
That's hard.
It is hard.
Getting down to the
Now,
nitty gritty.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I'm going to start.
Yes, please do.
I think Dimitri has a lot more to show, and I think he has the talent to execute and actually do a really, really amazing piece. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's my prediction.
Well, they did show us that next week Mondo is going to be coming by and they're actually going to be able to make their own prints, which I always think is a really exciting challenge because whenever you can design your own print, I mean, you don't ever get to do that. It costs so much money just to make the textile
your own
and
fabric.
everything.
Crazy.
And so I think it's going to be a really good challenge. You kind of got a preview of Christopher breaking down because he never works with print. So I don't know. I'm really excited to kind of see what everybody designs.
Do you think somebody's going to go home?
They better go.
I mean,
Somebody.
obviously someone will go home, but who do you?
I don't know. I really think, I don't
That's
know.
hard.
Gunnar, I think, although he stepped it up, I still think he's the low man on the totem pole.
You think he's worse than Fabio?
Oof, that's
Really?
kind of tough.
I
but
do.
I
just-
don't.
I think Fabio did a really poor coat this time, but I still think he's a little bit better of a designer than Gunnar.
Fabio's insecure. He's not as confident as a designer, not more than Gunnar, but Gunnar doesn't have the skill or the technical designing aspect
I
to
think
it.
that's
I
kind
don't
of what I think of Fabio, though. Or it's just his design aesthetic that everything's kind of loose fitting and I don't know. I just don't.
He goes for
love
hobo
it.
chic, you know.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
What's your prediction, Lo?
My prediction was going to be that maybe the next person to go would be Fabio. Yeah, and maybe I'll predict that Ven will do another mosaic print. That's going to be my prediction. I hope he proves me wrong.
I predict that Elena's going home. I don't care if
that's a
all
big
you
one.
fans think that she's great. I think I think they're over her and her attitude. Attitude is totally coming into play this season, and I think,
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
stop tweeting her.
yeah, come on, guys.
Stop it.
You heard it here
Want to
first.
change.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening in. Let's keep the combo going. Follow me on Twitter at _Alina23.
And you can follow me at Virginia Reyna.
And you can follow me at Lovalles, LO_VALLES.
And you can follow me at Lauren Leonelli on Twitter. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram under the same name.
Yay! Thanks, you guys.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.